Alright guys, on how the no guarantee on the lighting. Here's the case, got our lube on our cam, we got our bearing installed in there, got our cam bearings in there, our lifter. We got a cam plug set off to the side over here. Got some main stud washers, we got our main stud seals installed. You see there. We're getting ready for our final assembly here on the 1915. So we have our crank. Hang on a minute, let me get the camera focused and mocused. We got our crank here, all assembled with the new bearings, new rods, new rod bolts, new nuts. Got a slinger on there, got new keyways in there, new timing gear, distributor drive gear, and a crank spacer. On this case, we did a little mod and put double thrust bearings in it. Had to cut a tang to install that bearing on this side of the case. So we got double thrust bearings. And somebody asked me a question on the thrust bearing issue, if the thrust bearing was too tight, you know, how to correct that. And I found the best way to correct it for me is a nice flat sheet of glass and some wet dry paper. And you can usually sand the thrust surface of the bearing. You want to hold them together and you can get your clearance there. You know, you don't need a whole lot of clearance there on the cam. Shouldn't get a whole lot of cam walk there. It should be fairly tight, but you don't want it to be too tight. So we went and got some black RBT again. I bought a tube yesterday and a quart of oil and can't find it. So let's go ahead and lube up this case. And I'm going to use black, ultra black on this. This is ultra black. It's the most resistant to oil, supposedly. Anytime you use silicone, you want to make sure not to use, you know, globs of it. You just need enough to seal the case halves because you don't want it to get into the oil pump. So we're just going to give it a nice amount, nice speed. I like to keep the bead to the outside edge of the case. That way if it does squeeze out, you know, it doesn't get into the engine case itself. So keep that in mind if you're going to use the silicone, you know. Of course I go around each bolt hole, but you want to apply it at the bottom of the case. Hopefully I'm not blocking the camera. Probably am. Same with the oil pump area. You don't want to load it up too much because it's going to squeeze out into the pump area. So how's everybody doing today? Okay? Didn't see anything from Neil. And I don't got a clue about HPR. A bunch of people have asked me about HPR, and I tried calling HPR, no answer. I don't really know, guys. Hopefully somebody will let us know something from over there. What's going on, or something. I mean, Rick wasn't able to get a hold of him. I can't get a hold of him, so I don't know if something's happened or what the deal is. I just hope that everything's all well and nobody's hurt. Raining here again today. Can't get away from the rain in this place, man. Tell you what. I'm gonna go ahead and put our cam plug in. This is our cam plug. This is an old used one. I like the old ones better than the new ones. I like to put it where the deep part of the cam plug is facing towards the flywheel, flat side towards the cam. A lot of guys put them the other way. If you have an in-play issue or if you have an automatic tranny, the converter bolts can hit the cam plug and cut a hole in it. So if you put it this way, you stand much more of a chance of not damaging the plug. Alright, just going to go ahead and take this cam out of here for a minute. Set it over here. And yeah, out of the way. Want to make sure when you pull the cam out that you don't have any cam bearings sticking to it. We've got our lifters in place, we have our lifter clips in place, we have our one main bearing off to the side so we can make sure our crank's in properly. So I'll zoom that in and go ahead and drop the assembly in next. Oh, shit. As soon as my foot gets unhooked off that tranny case. There we go. This is sort of hard with the cable hooked up to the camera like this, but whatever. I guess the battery pack's been affecting the quality of the video, obviously. So here we go. Put a little oil on my bearing here. Good. I'm going to lay the rods off to the side. Like I showed you guys, I got my bearing marked in the back here, so I'm going to rotate my bearing. You want to use this back rod as a handle. Rotate the bearing until it drops in. Boom, boom. Lay your rod back over. Use this rod as the handle in the front. We'll go ahead and rotate this bearing real quick because I know where that one goes. I'll get it close, and then I'm going to rotate this one to the dowel pin here. Should drop in. There's that one. And I believe that's that one. Let me get a flashlight, give it a quick lookie. I think we're in there. A little tappy with a rubber hammer here. Alright, I don't like the way this feels, so I'm going to pull it back out, see what's going on here. Everything looks good, just double check everything, make sure everything's good. that one. Okay, I got a little slippery bearing here. I can't get a hold of it here. There we go. All right, now everything's looking good. Bearings are fitting nice now, and it's real important that you make sure at that point that everything lays in there right. We're going to check our other bearing now. We're going to lay it on top and make sure no rocky. We're good to go. Now we're going to install our other bearing in the other case half now. All right, we're going to put a little oil on the crank. Oil on our cam bearings. Now we're going to install our cam next. I need glasses. I know I got them out here somewhere. It's raining good now, boys. Hopefully this video isn't too long. Hopefully my silicone doesn't get dry. Hopefully everything works out here. Yeah, I got my timing marks here. Rotate the crank over. It's 1 dot on the cam gear and 2 dots on the crank. Rotate it, make sure that the dots are lined up. And this is where I like to give it a little rotation here and make sure the cam and everything rotates good. Need a little oil. Should be able to rotate it like that, you know, no problems. We're going to put pressure on our rods again. Make them stand up, hopefully. We'll give it one more look. We got our cam plug in, we have our silicone in place. I think we're good to go. Let's lower the case halves to get this bolted together. We have our bearing in here, we have our lifters, we got our double thrust bearing. I think we're good. There we go, guys. There we go. Lifter clips out. Get some silicone and bolt our 6 main studs down next. Again, I like to put a little silicone on the back side of the washer only. Just got my pool looking good. Now it's raining again, so that's no good. All right, we're gonna install 6 new main stud nuts. All new hardware, remember guys, that's all I use. I don't like to use used hardware over, you can. You know, just make sure you wash it good and get it nice and clean. And it's not an issue. I like to use the main studs new, or the bolts new, because the sealing. So that's that. And I like the way it makes the motor look nice, you know. Just like new hardware in an engine, I guess. I tighten the centers up first, and then I'll crisscross. You want to make sure the motor still turns over. Hopefully it does. Use a zinger. Okay, so now we're gonna pulley fits tight up there. This turns over fine. We'll go ahead and put our 8mm hardware on next. Spring washers. We're gonna go ahead and put a little sealer on the 2 cam journal studs that come up through the case here in the back. And those are the only 2 studs that are in oil as far as the 8mm studs. So I don't know if you're getting this or not. Ooh, maybe a little too close there. Let me back up. There we go. Like I said, I know one guy will be watching whether it's focused or not. So there we go. We'll go over a couple things, what we need, where we're at on the projects. We have our short block pretty much complete. We're going to need some spacers for our jugs to set our compression, some copper head gaskets. We're going to need an oil pump. We're going to need some pusher rods and some rocker arms. You got to figure out what we're going to do there. And like I said, I'll get this built and put it in a bag, and then I'll figure some other stuff up and get with you on where we're at and what we need to start looking for next. It's hot here today, man. Nice and muggy with this rain coming through. So, get all these nuts started and we'll run them down and get them torqued up to 18 foot-pounds. And we'll torque our big main studs down too. I was wanting to get this done today, or put together at least anyway, at least a short block form of it. So, we got that done. You can still do this stuff when it rains, so that's why never hurts to have different stuff, you know, to do. I had the bus owner come by and check out his stuff, look his motor over, and he's good to go. We got to do a little machine work on the cylinder heads, and I'm going to put the seats in there. I'm going to put new guides in. So we'll be doing that kind of stuff. And yep. Somebody asked how to set the end plate on the crankshaft, and you do that with the shims behind the flywheel on these. The thrust bearing doesn't set the shim or the end plate like on an American car. So it's actually got shims that are adjustable, and the shims go between the rear bearing and the flywheel. So let me get my torque wrench and my case nuts tightened down here. See where we're at. I know my battery's not going to die because they're plugged into the wall. I'm going to snug these down and we'll go to torquing them up. All right, now we're going to torque the 8mm nuts next. Get my glasses on here again and see where this is set. You don't want to over tighten these. Make sure that you 18 foot-pounds is plenty. If you get too much more over that, you can stand a chance of pulling the studs out of the case. You don't want to do that, especially on the back ones there. Nice and free. You want to check and make sure as you go along that it didn't seize up as you torque the bolts. That would be a bad sign of that happened. Usually that means you smashed the bearing, but we're good here. And there you go, one 1915 assembled short block. I'll go ahead and sit down and figure out where we're at, and we'll get on to the next part of it. I got to dig up some head studs. I got to finish the heads. I got to put the rings on the pistons next, balance the pistons. Just some finesse stuff. Decide what we're going to do with the valve springs, the retainers, and the rocker arms. So basically the top of the motor, we're just going to make some decisions on that next. Hopefully this looks all right. Hopefully you guys got something out of it. I don't know. We used the black RBT this time on this one. That's usually what I use. I like the ultra black or the ultra copper. Both of them work good. So I guess that's it. We got our Silverline bearings in here. We have a bug pack cam, mild cam. Didn't get real wild with the lift because it's a street car. Just something with a little performance. I need to know if your car is an alternator or a generator, and stuff like that. And then yeah, so got to send the flywheel out and get it refaced. I think I got to look at it and see what it looks like. I don't really remember. And I'm gonna go ahead and cut this short because I'm sure it's getting long, guys. So we'll talk to you later.